Hello from the Yarn Closet in Tucson, Arizona. I'm Laura, your lovely host. Lovely because I used a blow dryer today and actually put on eyeshadow. Can anyone tell? And then after yesterday's tooth problem, see, I was laying on the couch. My 3-year-old daughter wanted to climb over me to cuddle. So I lifted up my really big iPhone. She knocked my arm. I dropped it. Chipped off a front tooth. Sad thing is, I had to go to the dentist, get it fixed, and tell the story of how that tooth got chipped the first time, 23 years ago. I'll get back to that. So I'm showing off. Nobody told me I had lipstick on my teeth all day. I'm legally blind, so I can't actually see out of this eye. My mom trained me to keep it open when I was a child. And I see a little bit out of this eye, but everything's blurry. A little bit, when I say I see a little bit, I see like looking through a straw. I see less than 15 degrees of vision. Most people see around 160 degrees of vision. And the last time I had the test done was about 10 years ago, and it was under 15. So, I don't know. I don't know where we're at today, but, you know, it's kind of like gaining weight slowly or losing weight slowly. You don't really notice when you're the one doing it, but other people do. What did I just run into the other day and think, oh, good Lord? Who knows? The Yarn Closet Facebook page, the Yarn Closet Arizona on Instagram and Ravelry. There is a Yarn Closet group on Ravelry. We sent out our first prize because we got past the 25 member mark. A lovely Luann in Monroe, Wisconsin got a couple of short sock tubes. A lovely bag from Darn Yarn, Minnesota, who's actually in Wisconsin now, and some other trinkets, a book from Knit Books about toasty toes. I'm not a big book person. I like to have things read to me via my lovely technology. And that's about it for the technology. Feel free to email me at theyarncloset@yahoo.com. People do send me some odd questions. It's okay to comment right here. Subscribe, comment. I know sometimes I must be humorous, and I don't mind talking about stuff, either blind lady stuff or menopausal lady stuff or mom stuff, or dog stuff. I have a black retired standard poodle named Sadie, who was my guide dog for a number of years. She's lovely. And a bit crazy now that she doesn't work. She barks a lot more. It's been a crazy week, and it's only Thursday. My husband has gone in now part days a couple times this week to do some administrative stuff with his brother's business. And it's taking a lot out of him. It's really hard for him to rein things back. He's got a couple of interstitial lung diseases. Many of you may know that a number of them are terminal. He is a retired fireman paramedic, and he was also in the Marines for 8 or 9 years. 8 years, I think. So he's a go-getter, and this thing where he hasn't had any get up and go has really kicked his butt. But lucky for me, he's been around to help me with my circular sock machine that I have from Erlbacher Gerhardt. I still can't make a sock from beginning to end. I'm getting close to making a decent hung hem and heel, but when you do the toe, it's like doing a heel on the opposite side so that you have that Kitchener seam across the top of your toes. Yes, I do touch my hair an awful lot because I don't put a lot into my hair because I can't easily get out to have it cut, or when I do get out to have it cut once every few years, they never do what I want, and I can't really tell what they're doing, so it freaks me out. I don't always feel like a finished looking woman of my age, hair, makeup, whatever, because I just can't do it. You know, no fingernails. You can't imagine how hard it is to clip your fingernails or your toenails when they're just blurry. So he's had a long week. He'll be trying to get out tomorrow to do a little hunting. It's an opener for some bird or duck or something. And then probably down a lot of the weekend into next week. It's been a hard road. We've talked a lot recently about things. It's just really interesting. Not something I figured I'd be doing in my 40s. Kind of like having a baby at 43. Not something I thought I'd do. Kind of like knitting. I didn't think I'd ever get to the point where I could do a halfway decent job of knitting until I found Continental and really was able to manage it. Thank you, Laura Lee Beltman, for some of your online classes and tutorials. Just love, love, love her stuff and how she teaches, because I am also a knitter. This is a Lion Brand acrylic. Most people will recognize it. I still have some acrylic from my old crochet days where I just crocheted like a fiend for charity, and I still want to use up some of it. And so this is actually a new pattern that I might write up and produce. I've been doing so many of the Anguli cowls that I needed to alternate the shape a bit. But the premise was so garter stitch fabulous and lovely that I couldn't help but use it as a jumping off point or inspiration or whatever you would call it. And I am using my cheapy needles, because how often do you use this big of yarn? Not often. Yeah, the cord is a bit annoying, but it's great to know that I got a whole set of extras and spares for when I need to run an extra lifeline or do something, and I didn't have to pay through the nose. I literally paid the same as 2 chow goos, 19 something, and at my local yarn shop it's about $9 for a chow goo, $10, I don't know. So I was pretty happy about that this week. Also, I was very happy. Oh yeah, this is my pattern inspiration. Get it? You totally got it. I don't need to write out the pattern. I probably won't. I know this woman's name. Let me think. Laura Mate Designs on Etsy. Been looking for a larger bag for sweater quantity. I just had a few coupons and I got 2 sweater quantities that are coming. I have those other 2 sweater quantities of stuff that I didn't really love, but that's my goal for 2019. I'm planning ahead. 2019 is the year of the sweater. If Amy over at Stranded Dye Works can do, what, 13 now sweaters she started for this year? Okay, she doesn't have a husband, she doesn't have children, she doesn't have 3 dogs, but she has a crazy job as a yarn dyer. So that's probably equal, right? 2019 is my year of the sweater, and this is the best bag ever. I love this see-through plastic mylar, I don't know what you call it, with these cute little dudes, sheep dudes. I love sheeps. And it's drawstring. The only thing that would have made me like it more is if there'd been a strap from here all the way to the other side that was kind of heftier for over the shoulder. The contrast is fabulous. You can fold it down, but you can see what's in there. I get my stuff tucked away in the couple of project bags I've kept over the years and that I haven't re-gifted. And I forget and I lose the motivation because I'm not seeing it, which you're thinking that's ironic. But if I get a little bit of the color or the yarn, I'll remember what it is, and then it might motivate me. And as with all of my bags, you will see that I also have my phone charger and one of my collapsible canes. I just love it. So if I were you, she has a lot of them in different styles and different sizes. I just love it. This is fabulous. It's a thing. It's a total thing. Go there. Laura Mate Designs on Etsy. And in the vein of the year of the sweater, see-through plastic. The zipper doesn't even work up here, but I still save it. I did a swatch in the same yarn of a different color, and I ended up having to try 3 different needle sizes. But I'm going to use these colors to make a short sleeve cardigan that has a button band but no actual buttons. It kind of lays open. Based on the yardage, I'm a little bit concerned, so I'm just going to make it with the needle that worked for me, that got me gauge. And yes, it's still washing. Chip, I'm podcasting. And it'll either end up being my size or too small. And I'll just hold on to it for my daughter or give it as a gift. One of my Knitting I Love circular needle holders. All planning ahead. I can't wait for it to be done and then get a start on it. But it's a sweater. I need to start and focus. And I don't have a lot of time where I really get to focus and not be interrupted. Which leads me to the other yarn thing. Tubes. So I moved some stuff around my little yarn space in the house, and I really love it. And I finally figured out, thanks to Freckled Whimsy, Carrie over there, was able to communicate with me in a way that I understood how to get my machine back to 0, to really be able to consciously adjust the gauge every single time, because my gauges were not great. And I could finally get to a 9 or a 10 stitch per inch tight gauge for a sock, which is great, and I'm excited about it. This is a yarn tube. I love the way it patterned up. But I'm gonna make it into a scarf for a guy I know. I'm gonna send a few scarves back to some friends in Wisconsin. And this is silk and bamboo, and it's lovely and soft and light. And let me see if I have the tag. Dun dun dun. Yes, it's simply a Premier yarn from Cotton Fair. Was not super expensive. He'll never watch the podcast, he'll never know. But I think it's cool. Totally cool. I took some alpaca from my mother-in-law for my birthday. Made a scarf on the sock machine. Fast. So fast. And all I gotta do is get in there and Kitchener up some ends. Or sometimes I just pull them tight and then put a tassel on. It feels like cheating. I bet the first person who used a sewing machine said the same thing. And the whole motivation for the scarfy thing is that my son and my husband bought me a couple skeins of this acrylic. I'm not really in love with it. Because they don't really know how to buy yarn, but they're learning. And so I knew that I had to be, it was thick enough that I could do it on my 48 cylinder. See, and you just Kitchener the end. And it's a nice thin scarf, and you know, somebody who would actually use a scarf who maybe doesn't live in Tucson or is a child would like this. So we're back to the scarf year. Holiday shopping and holiday making and stuff, because people do expect. They know you're the yarn lady, they expect it. Because I'm just too slow often about putting in the finishing work into the socks. Because like, here we go. I have a nice little hung hem cranked up. Some Lolo did it tonal red, and I put in a nice little purple toe, and to really make it usable, because this is definitely a shorty, I need to get that heel in, because as many of you know, and many of you don't, I hope there's many of you who don't, I hope there are many first-timers that have listened to me blather on and think, she's odd, she doesn't get out much. If I make a long enough sock and I get to this point and it's for me, a lot of times I don't even put in the heel. If all I'm gonna do is wear it around the house because I am at home so much, I obviously don't drive a car. I drive a cute little pink electric mobility cart. That's my cheater method. So I had a longer one. I wish I hadn't already cut in the heel for that one, because I would have just skipped it at this point. Now I have to finish both of them. Okay, so that's cool. Also, I'm taking a couple of my 50-gram knit picks, cranked on the tube, way easy. This stuff at the end is called waste yarn, okay? Mom, don't text me, I'm podcasting. I always do a different waste yarn from start and finish, and I try to write it on the tag, because I try to put the tag back on the tube so I know what I've got. Because if you know which end is the end, you can unravel it just like a sock blank and use it to make a hat or whatever. But I'm gonna make some headbands. It's not really my style. But I see a lot of the kids and the younger women at work, I work at a school, wearing them. So I'm gonna make some of those. And even with the interruptions, Sadie, I'm podcasting. That's Sadie's bark. Sadie, my pretty, pretty lady. What was I saying? I was talking about the tubes and stuff. I don't know. I can't remember because I'm old. But I'm trying to crank some tubes and whip out some finished objects, so I have some miscellaneous gifts for people, to try and make it easier. I am anticipating, this is the first time I've said it, I'm anticipating that the holidays are not going to be a pleasant time, that my husband's going to feel some pressure, and that it's going to exhaust him. So I'm trying to get a jump on it. So that brings us to the next statement. I'm whispering, but you know what he said the other day? Don't they make a hat machine? They do. They do. They absolutely make a hat-sized machine. I don't have the money right now to buy it, but I have a credit card. And I'm really tempted, so tempted, because it could be 6 months, it could be 2 years of life just getting more uncomfortable and more not being able to have that uninterrupted time. Where I only have short bits. And so this is my justification, that if I only had short bits, I could crank out a hat. And whether or not I put hats on everyone I know or gave them to charity, it would still feed my soul and be those minutes for me. And we so rarely, as the women, prioritize that. And it's hard to pull the trigger on prioritizing that. But I'm thinking about it. I'm so thinking about it. There are no heels in hats. And then the scarf is actually wider because the cylinder is bigger. And if you knew an old person or a very heavy person, you can make larger socks, longer socks. Like I could